Whoa. Hey, I'm Zach, America's #1 practical nutrition coach. Now, here's the cool part about intermittent fasting, right? Now, what happens is that since you're shortening your fueling window, you're able to eat larger portions, and it's a lot more flexible because since you're not eating throughout the day in little meals or snacks and meals and whatever, you have more room to eat more food at once. So that's kind of fun. Um, Especially since, if you're used to dieting and having, very strict portion control, that could be tough where you're eating in a way that you're never quite hungry, you're never quite full. With intermittent fasting, you do experience true hunger and you do experience, feeling full and satisfied, and it's a fantastic way to go. Especially if it works for you and it works for your schedule and you can stick with it, because that's the key. Sticking with these changes will give you results, right? So, one of I can't speak. One of the issues that you can find is that intermittent fasting can make it actually tough to eat enough, especially if you're trying to gain muscle. So, if you're just looking for pure weight loss, for pure fat loss, intermittent fasting is great for that. Doesn't help my speaking though. Excuse me. But what can happen is that when you're eating, especially if you're eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes that are fantastic for health, it can be tough to eat enough calories to fuel exercise, to fuel your recovery from exercise, and all that stuff, because you don't want to be severely cutting calories if you're looking to build muscle. That's you're trying to increase your body mass even if you're losing fat at the same time. Don't worry, fat and muscle are two different things. You can do both at the same time. So, with that being said, you can modify your intermittent fasting to get even better results. So, what I do is you could do two things. You could increase the caloric density of the foods that you're eating, which means this is going to be a little, let me explain this. If you look per cup per volume of food, they have different amounts of energy in that volume. And I talked before that your stomach can sense satiety based on how big it gets, how full it gets. So if you eat a cup of olive oil, that's going to fill you this much and have hell of a ton of calories, because that's just pure fat. It's the most caloric dense food that you can have. But if you have a cup of broccoli, you're gonna feel the same exact satiety in terms of the stretch centers, and it's gonna be very minimal calories from that. So if you're looking to increase your caloric intake to gain muscle mass with an exercise program, you're going to want to incorporate more. I like to incorporate more foods like dried fruits, nuts. Maybe you could use a little bit more oils, but foods that still have a lot of nutrition, water, and fiber, but have more fat or more calories per serving. The other option is if you don't like those foods, you have a nut allergy, whatever it is, that it's tough for you to get those foods, you could increase your fueling window. So instead of an 8-hour fueling window, you could increase it to 10 hours, and you could add a small snack or another meal, whatever fits your lifestyle, whatever is most convenient for you. Now, you don't want to go away from intermittent fasting completely, because it can actually help you in terms of gaining muscle, because that break from constantly eating food and having small meals and all that stuff allows your gut to, first of all, it helps clean it out. It helps build it back stronger. It's kind of like with exercise, you work a muscle, but then it gets bigger and recovers better away from exercise. The same thing happens with your gut. If you're constantly eating, you're constantly putting stress on your gastrointestinal tract, and gunk could build up. It doesn't get time to refuel and rebuild and come back better than before. So with intermittent fasting, you could actually end up gaining better muscle because you're more effectively absorbing all of those micronutrients, all of the little cofactors that help you in hundreds of metabolic processes, including increasing your immune system and boosting muscle growth and recovery. So once again, I'm Zack from DailyNutritionHQ.com. If you like this video, then subscribe to find out when I come out with more.